I've played for concerts where the band outnumbered the audience several times, but usually it was a four-piece band. So I'm not even concerned. It's great. Anyway, pretty impressive looking group, aren't they? You look great. So do you want to sing? Okay, so we'll put your hand in the hand. Okay, so first thing you need to do when you get this big a group together to sing is you get everybody else to sing too. So if you don't sing, we're going to come and get you. And there's quite a few of us. So we're going to just start with a couple of what we thought were quintessential Canadian folk songs. Then you can all sing along, and even if you don't know the words, you can just hum or move your lips. Okay, but there's a camera pointed at you, and anyone who's not at least moving their lips will be dealt with accordingly by CSIS later. So we're going to start with a song by a great Prince Edward Island songwriter, Gene McClellan. Put your hand in the hand. So join right in. Put your hand in the hand of the man who still the water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Every time Can you hear it? You can hear it okay? A little louder? Okay. That'll come later. Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to, not to leave out Western Canada, we're going to do one more with all of you along too. We'll do this. They did 15 years ago or so, they did a summer poll on CBC for what were the top 10 songs in Canada. No, actually, I guess it was the top 100. And this was the #1 song in Canada, which probably is as indicative of who listens to CBC as it is of, what's necessarily popular. And though, I voted. Anyway, so this is a song called Four Strong Winds by Ian Tyson. And so please join us.
Four strong winds that blow lonely, 7 seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may. Well, our good times are all gone,
little stool, so I'd be taller than I am. But pardon me? It's anyway. Oh, it worked this morning. It'll work this afternoon, right? Okay. So now we're going to do that. That's the sing-along portion, and now we're going to do the rest. If you know them, you can sing along still. You're perhaps less likely. But anyway, the first choral selection, if you will, was written by Oscar Peterson, a great Canadian composer and jazz musician, and Harriet Hamilton, right? And Harriet Hamilton, who wrote the lyrics. And it's called The Hymn to Freedom. And it really is kind of everything Canada stands for. Here we go. Nice, easy, listen to one another. Every now and then look at your director. Okay? If I don't get enough attention, I'm going to dive over the back. And one. All right, So this next tune, we're going to go to the West Coast, all the way to the coast. On the group of seven, the painters were particularly active in their later group. There was an additional painter who became part of the group of seven named Emily Carr. And Emily Carr spent her whole life really painting up and down the West Coast primarily. And she painted a lot of the symbols and things from the indigenous peoples on the West Coast. And she got to know the various native peoples, and they had great respect for her, and to the point where they gave her a name, their own name. So they used to call her Clewick, and so this song is a tribute to Clewick or Emily Carr. And on percussion for that, we had Aaron Crane on djembe, and where is Jason Leone on triangle back there. Thank you very much. So this next song is an old maritime favorite. Well, it's not as old as some maritime favorites. We do have the, the dubious honor of being really the oldest part of the country from an immigrant's point of view, if you will. And so this isn't one of the old folk songs. This is just kind of, depending on your definition, it may or may not even be a folk song, really. Anyway, but it's a great song. So this is a song that probably the best known version is one that was done by Raylene Rankin, I don't know, with the Rankin family, so in the 90s somewhere. And it's called We Rise Again.
Watch those entrances early on, right? Light, don't blow them away. Leave yourself a place to go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and...
Ocean cries.
And this is Alexandra Green, Allie Green, the soloist. Thank you very much. So now we have another soloist coming up. So we're going to depart a little bit from, just a little, from the kind of traditional choral sound. And we'll dedicate to this to anybody in the audience who's maybe under 30. And for those of you who aren't, this is just going to be another new song. And anyway, so this is a song that was written by two maritime pop musicians, if you will, a hip-hop artist named Classified out of Halifax or Elmsdale, and or Enfield, and anyway, and a gentleman named David Miles out of Fredericton, and they did this collaboration a few years ago, and it became really, from Canadian standards, a pretty large success story. It proceeded to sell more copies than any Canadian hip-hop song had ever sold before. There was even 3 radio stations in the States that played it. Anyway, maybe a few more. But it's a hip-hop tune, so it's a little different for a choir to do, but we've enlisted the help of someone under 30, and so Bethany Williams Hayden is going to sing, do the rap for us, because the only rappers here work at Christmas. And the rest of us, yeah. Anyway, so but Bethany is a great young rapper, and so she's going to take the lead on it. And this is called Inner Ninja.
Just let me find my own. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, page 1. Oh, page 1. Page 2. There. Oh, here. Did you want one of these?
Sure. Why not?
Just to get you in the spirit.
How do I look?
There.
We can pull off anything.
Yeah. You ready? Yeah. This is Inner Ninja Turtle. Yeah. Okay. And.
Never heard this before, but I'd rather lose a fight than miss the war. And I ain't wishing competition or fishing for it. I'm just living in the system, conditions are poor. I've been lost in the rhythm and misinformed. Too many late nights hitting the liquor store. Too many bad decisions, half-assed attempts. No sweat, no fear, no blood, no tears. I go hard, and I ain't making up no excuse. I'm overdue, I don't do what I'm supposed to do. Cause if you think about it, man, we're supposed to lose. It ain't all picture perfect ocean views, no. I was a first-class rookie, taking out bullies in my all-black hoodie. Man, a mystery, you know the history. Get it or forget it, cause poof, I'm out of here.
I read the rules before I broke them. I wrote the chains before they choked me out. Now I pay close attention, relearn the code. I learned to read the map before I hit road. Nobody's gonna see me coming, nobody's gonna hear a sound. No matter how hard they're trying, no stopping me since I found my inner ninja, my inner ninja.
I've been high and I've been real low. I've been beaten and broken, but I healed though. So many ups and downs, roughed up and clowns. We all got problems, but we deal though. I'm trying to do better now, find my inner peace. Learn my art form and find my inner chi. When my back's on the wall, I don't freeze up. Now I find my inner strength and I re-up. Here we go. I know I've never been the smartest or wisest, but I realize what it takes. Never dwell in the dark, cause the sun always rises, but gotta make it to the next day. It's a feeling that you get in your lungs when you run, like you're running out of air and your breath won't come and you're breathing. Gotta keep it moving, find the extra and push your way through it.
I had opponents, but I knocked them out. I
Bethany Williams Hayden. Thank you very much. Yeah. And Jason Leone on drums. Right, what do we got left? River. Oh, right, the river. That's the one. No. So, one of the things about living in the St. John River Valley is the river, right? We've got this river, and it is both a blessing and some days a curse, I know. And but it is, when you get right down to it, the river's the reason we're here. If you ever really look at a map of settlement across North America, you're not going to find a whole lot of people settled, way distant places from water. They tend to follow the rivers and the lakes. And, if you look at the map of New Brunswick, and you'll see the St. John River, and you'll see the Restigouche River, and you'll see the Miramichi River, and then in the middle, there's that great big space that used to have trees in it. Who said that? Anyway, there's all those trees, and so because there was no river there, so people didn't hang around for long, the river. This next song is a song by sort of young by my standards, a songwriter originally from Nova Scotia who now lives in Owen Sound, Ontario. Played, I believe, last year at the Hullabaloo. Yay, Hullabaloo! And her name is Coco Love Alcorn. And, this is kind of her perspective on the river, which is really, life-giving. So here it is, The River by Coco Love Alcorn.
The river knows no end.
So we have one last selection, and we're going to do that fairly quickly. And but just before that, these things never come together, you know, by themselves. There were a lot of people who put a lot of effort into it. This is the most fun I've had making music in really all my life. It's just been wonderful, partly because all I had to do was the music. And, you know, because, the thing that, you know, that makes doing music hard is all of the non-music stuff, right? It's the lugging the gear, it's the, you know, signing people up, the finding a way to pay the bills, all of those things. And I have to say, you know, not having to do any of that was really great. Anyway, but so I would maybe we'll just thank the musicians first. There was lots of folks who played little extra bits. Allie Green, the solo in Rise Again. Aaron Crane, the solo, or the drum part. Jason Leone, the other drum part. Bethany Williams Hayden, the solo in the Inner Ninja. Rebecca McKinley, who has been here and wonderful as an accompanist through all of this. And really, when you have an accompanist like Rebecca, you can do practically anything. It really is. It's really that simple. She just makes my job so much easier. And last but certainly not least, Marianne Bell, who has saw this vision a year ago and has put this together. She and her committee, and she had a wonderful committee. And I know they put, you know, umpteen hours work, you know, times 10. And really, I think as a community, you're very fortunate to have her around. So. Because really, as a community, this builds community, which is a wonderful thing. So, and also thank her committee as well, and to the entire town of Perth Andover, who has made all of us from away, you know, like from Bath and Florenceville and Woodstock and Quebec. Anyway, just so welcome, particularly the last couple of days. And we were here all day yesterday, and lots of us here all day today. So thank you all very much for that. And so we're going to finish with a song, really, that I've done several times. About every 4 years for the last 25 years, I've taken my high school band and choir to Ottawa. And we usually get to sing in the rotunda there at Parliament Hill. And anyway, it's a great place to take a group of kids. And this is one of the songs we've usually sung. And it's just a great Canadian song about the good fortune we have of living here. Sorry. Because we are pretty lucky if you look around the world. Yeah, really. Yeah, really lucky. And probably we shouldn't take it for granted, you know, but we do. And we're fortunate that, at least so far, we can. Anyway, so this is called This Is My Home. And with this, we will bid you a very happy Canada Day and have a wonderful evening. And a special thanks to all of you folks, really, who've put in all kinds of rehearsal time. And, really wonderful to work with. Thank you very much. Okay, this is my home. Let's rock it. Okay, never louder than lovely. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and.
See to see, a tapestry of colors, shapes, and sound.
And I would be remiss, have already been remiss, for not thanking Dan and Dylan and for doing sound today. They were here at 8 o'clock this morning, lugging gear, and have been here all day long so that you could have a listen. And thank you, gentlemen. And once more, Rebecca McKinley.